Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, with true well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, man. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman, and this week's lesson is going to be titled, Let's Talk Hypersonic. And the inspiration for the show comes from the fact that I was watching a few YouTube channels that deal with hypersonic technology, hypersonic gliders, and just, trying to get into the understanding of how they work. I was watching a show with, it was the main camp, and they brought out that scripture in Ezra where it says the arrows of second Ezra, the 16th chapter, going into the arrows that the Most High shoot are sharp. And when you sharpen an arrow, you make it more and more destructive. So the modern day version of that is making these missiles more advanced. And as it stands right now, Russia is the only one capable of achieving hypersonic technology, right? Hypersonic missiles. Hypersonic missiles is missiles that are able to go over Mach 5. So what's that mean? All right, every time you break the sound barrier, and you'll see jets do it, you get the sonic boom. That means you just broke the sound barrier. Airliners, they travel a little bit below Mach 1. All right. Then you have supersonic missiles, which go about Mach 2, Mach 3, and supersonic ballistic missiles, which is what the United States have right now. But there's an arms race for hypersonic technology, missiles that are able to go Mach 5 and above, you know what I'm saying? And China has rockets that are able to go Mach 10, missiles that are able to go to Mach 10. The thing with hypersonic is this, all right? They said it's the equivalent of trying to light a match in 2,000 mile per hour wind. The hypersonic technology, the way the missiles work, there's no mechanical instrument moving within it. You know what I'm saying? They use they get their speed from pressured air. What they do is they attach it to a rocket and have it hover above the ozone layer and come back in at hypersonic speed, which they're able to control. Which, when you read things like that, the fact that those stuff exists, it brings light to the scripture that knowledge shall increase, because it was just a few years ago that they were in World War II using the first jets. Now they have hypersonic missiles, man. And you have like space rockets. Space rocket goes about like Mach 20, 20 times the speed of sound, which is insane. But when these things go hypersonic, they don't maintain that hypersonic speed. Russia has developed technology that's able to maintain that hypersonic speed. They about 4 months ago they released one of their hypersonic missiles. Putin did on one of his display shows that, like they have these war shows and show off different weapons. They had this missile that was able to go Mach 9, which is 3 times the speed of a bullet. You know what I'm saying? And of course, they're going to attach nuclear payloads to it. So with hypersonic technology now, you have the ability to hit your target within 6 minutes. Think about that. How do you even come up with a counter-strike? Because normal missiles, all right, normal missiles get intercepted. Normal, you could intercept a ballistic missile, all right, even if it's traveling at supersonic speed, you could intercept a ballistic missile because its trajectory is set. Think about it like, if you play baseball and somebody hits a fly ball up in the air, the outfielder would know exactly where to stand because he knows where the baseball is going to land, and he could catch it. The same thing too with supersonic ballistic missiles. Now hypersonic ballistic missiles, they're able to pretty much picture that same baseball coming at you, but somebody has the ability to change it in the last very second. So that's the capability of hypersonic missiles. And you have that missile that goes Mach 9, it creates a cloud. It creates a cloud that jams radar, so it almost is damn near like invisible. A lot of these hypersonic missiles, the way they move is undetectable to radar. I mean, by the time you even try to detect this thing, it's already too late. You have 6 minutes to come up with a tragedy. So as it stands right now, there is no defense against hypersonic missiles. There's none known to man. All right, and as it stands officially, I don't know officially, official records, only Russia has them. We don't know if the United States have them secretly, but this is what the scriptures talk about: arrows being shot from one end of the earth to the next. You can't do that with a regular arrow. I mean, unless you're on the border of two countries, I guess, and they're like really close. But you can't shoot from the west to the east an arrow. But you know what? These things are going to be traveling faster than actual arrows and clear a distance faster than an arrow would, man. It's talking about these nuclear missiles that the Most High put into the minds. As the scripture says in the book of Isaiah 55:6, I created a smith that blows the coal in the fire. All right, so these are the more advanced and the more sharp the sword is getting, the more advanced this technology is getting. Russia has a torpedo. They have a torpedo that is able to, I forgot the name of it, but pretty much they say that it's the equivalent of a meteorite hitting the earth. And it has a special, it needs a special torpedo. It needs a special submarine to carry it. So we see that, there's so many advanced weaponry that these nations are no longer caring about agriculture, but are caring about their sword, as it says in the book of Joel. All right, they have drones that are able to refuel in the sky by laser. They had drones that they attach solar panels to them, and you're able to refuel them in the air by shooting lasers at them. You cannot fuck this, man. Genesis, the 27th chapter, Isaac gave Esau, the so-called white man, the blessing of the sword, instruments of destruction. All right, so, and they're going at it. All right, if the Matthew, the 24th chapter, if Satan's kingdom be divided, how shall it stand? You got these two Edomites nations, the United States, Russia, of course, Israel is in the background. They're all Edomites. All right, and they're going at it with their own blessings. So they're trying to advance each other, with missile capabilities, man. All right, and it doesn't matter. To be completely honest, as somebody on RT was saying, it doesn't matter if you get hit with a bomb from the 60s or a nuclear bomb from now. You're both going to be pretty dead, And it's a fact that the United States and Russia had the capability of destroying each country back in the 60s, and they still have that technology now. Hypersonic is just taking it to the next level. And the ability to attach nuclear warheads to them. You have missiles, all right, which they're attached to rockets. They go out in the atmosphere and they come back in, all right, that's travel faster than bullets. And check this out, all right. The kinetic energy alone from a hypersonic drop could cause massive destruction, man. It doesn't even need a payload. In other words, if that thing just enters into the atmosphere and come back down, with no bomb or anything attached to it, it will cause massive destruction. The United States is working on something called Thor, all right, or the thing they call them the rods of God, but it's these giant steel beams that are able to. What they'll do is they'll take them up into space and drop them back down, and just use kinetic energy alone, and they'll have the same destruction of a nuclear warhead without the nuclear fallout. So it's like, damn, like they're thinking of everything to fucking destroy each other, man. But that's the Most High put that in their heart, man. And eventually, the Most High is not giving them this technology just to look at them. Eventually, these things will be used. And when you get into the specifics and just the shit that the U.S. military has, the shit that Russia has. I mean, Russia has very advanced technology, but the U.S. military might, the United States still is the in terms of military might, it's just too much. 64% of the world's military is the United States. So, but then again, Russia got those hypersonic missiles. So they both have the capability to pretty much destroy each other, which they will, and reshape the planet Earth, man. All right, because that's another thing that these missiles are going to do. The Most High is going to have these blessed missiles recreate the geography of the Earth, just like the flood did. This is what these missiles are going to do. Certain parts of the seas are going to be dried up. It's just going to be like when you look at a bird's eye view of the globe, it's going to be completely different. It's going to change the landmass of the Earth. It's going to change the size of the Earth itself. All right, so these missiles are going to serve a great purpose, man. All right, and the fact that which you know, they said in 10 years time, and the video I was watching was a few years ago, that all 3 of these nations will have supersonic, but you know, the Mossad is speeding things up, man. All right, so they're gonna figure out a way to create supersonic weapons, and I mean weapons that have no mechanical moving parts. Think about that, man. That's some ingenious shit. That's some ingenious shit. What they did was they built on the hypersonic, they built on the supersonic technology of jet propulsion. They advanced it to create this hypersonic propulsion, man. All right. So when when brothers got the chance, you know, I couldn't remember every single part of the information about it, but you know, when you hear scriptures like the arrows are sharp, man, sharp is almost like an understatement, man, of what these things are capable of doing, man. 144, that's the spirit. Close out then. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. Y'all can stay strong, man. This thing's about to pop off soon, Lord willing. Shalom.